Yeah, I'm not here to get into any contract things. Those were over the course of this offseason, but the season is here. We got the Tennessee Titans on the clock. Division game, division matchup. What are you going to do? Are you going to boast up and get ready to defend your house, or are you going to fold? It's okay. I mean, it's the media's job to speculate and, what's going on? Only one thing that matters is the people inside of these walls. Oh, listen, like I said, I'm here right now, and my number one thing is to take care of my teammates. A lot of people worry about what I want. What I want doesn't matter what necessarily I want. What matters is what this team needs, what this team wants, what this city wants, and what this city needs. And what this city needs is a championship. And while I'm here, that's what I'm going to work my tail off to do. That's what I work my tail off to get the opportunity to do. I think when you've been out for a while, you start looking at it and you say, man, when you have that opportunity, and I never took it for granted, but even when it's taken away, you still are like, man.
Okay, so, I mean, the Colts are right there, tied for the division lead with everybody else in the division at 2-2. We've got Bryant McFadden there. We have Lige Douzable here. Lige, what did you think about what he had to say today?
I really love what he had to say, and it's interesting, right? Everybody was worried about the damaged relationship between him and Jim Irsay and the front office of the Indianapolis Colts. It really resonated with me what he said. When you're given the opportunity to play this game or it's taken away from you, and I think Jonathan Taylor sat back and realized, like, I love the game of football, and at any moment this could be taken away. I'm coming off an injury last year, didn't play the first 4 games of the year this year because I wasn't healthy. Let me go out here and play for my teams. We can squash the beef. We can revisit the contract situation in the offseason. I think he also has that, you talked about it, everybody in this division is 2-2. A lot of people thought the Colts may be 0-4 at this point. Now he gets to sit back and see this offense with Anthony Richardson and how dynamic it can be. He saw Zach Moss have a lot of success in his offense, and he's probably thinking, if I look at Shane Steichen and I look at the history of the running backs, Miles Sanders had nearly 1,300 yards last year. Zach Moss is having a really good year this year. If I'm in the backfield with Anthony Richardson, I could probably plateau to that 1,800 that I had a few years ago. So I think he sat back and realized, I missed the game of football. Holding out is not going to benefit me next year and getting a new contract. Let me go out here and prove I can be healthy. And now with Shane Steichen at the helm and Anthony Richardson at quarterback, I can put up big numbers, and we'll revisit this contract situation in the offseason.
And I think JT understood, watching from afar, seeing the success his team was having, also running the football with Zach Moss, Anthony Richardson. He kind of lost some leverage. So now he has to devote all of his time, his intention, and being in the Indianapolis Colts right now and just acting as the ultimate professional. But Lige, he did give us a nice little view of how he sees things currently. Because during that presser, he said, I am here right now. When I heard that, everything else he was talking about, it kind of went out the window. Because clearly he still feels like he can go elsewhere. Because if you don't feel that way, why would you emphasize the right now? I'm here right now. So with that being said, I'm here to lift up my teammates and whatever it is he carried on to state. But I heard that, I'm like, okay, I understand. He still wants to get out of town because clearly he has no leverage. Jim Irsay basically said he's not going to pay him this year. And now when you talk about the way that Jim Irsay handled this entire situation with his star running back, and they've been winning ball games. And heck, I feel like they could win the division with or without Jonathan Taylor based on what we've seen from the Colts so far and looking at the rest of the AFC South. Yeah, Jim Irsay is probably licking his chops right now knowing that I don't have to force my hand because JT has seen from afar, you know what, we can keep this train going with or without you.
And the Colts are 2-2. You talked about it. It's right there in the division. Do you think, I mean, he says, JT, I'm 100% healthy, but do you think they gradually work him into this offense, or is he just going to come out the gate running? I mean, quite literally, Lige.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on what they've seen from him in practice throughout these last couple weeks and how he's looked in rehab. You don't want to put too much on his shoulder right away because he is a weapon that you need for the foreseeable future, whether that's just the 2023 season or that's going on beyond this season. So Jonathan Taylor showed you how special he could be a few years ago, rushing for over 1,800 yards. The dynamic with him and Anthony Richardson in the backfield, that will scare defensive coordinators because, again, linebackers and defensive ends, when they crash down to get Jonathan Taylor, Anthony Richardson can take it to the house for 60 yards. But if they slow play that, it will open up holes for Jonathan Taylor. You see him right here in between the tackles. When he gets to that second level, it is good night. He is going to the house for a touchdown. So I think they'll gradually bring him in because Zach Moss has played amazing for them so far. But I would say after 2 or 3 weeks, he'll probably get his normal work share going forward.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it's all about what he can handle as an individual. But if you're Jonathan Taylor, you want to first and foremost show not just to the Colts, but to other playoff caliber teams, I am healthy. Secondly, you want to show to the NFL world as well, I am still him. As the kids say nowadays, I'm him. And that's what he wants to go out and display, because I do believe he wants to go elsewhere. That relationship is ruined right now between, not necessarily with the Colts, but just the owner, and he owns the team. So I think JT want to show everyone, you know what? I stepped away. I'm 100% healthy. I'm still that guy. So for any playoff caliber teams that may need a nice big plus at the running back position, go ahead, send a flyer, because you see what I can do, and I can potentially be that final piece to get you guys over the hump.
All right, BMAC, Lige, hang tight. We're going to transition this thing to the fantasy side, because a lot of people like me want to know. Like, he's been waiting on my bench for 4 weeks as we bring in Jamie Eisenberg. Should we start him this week and have faith against a good Tennessee Titans defense?
You know, Chris, I think if you can avoid it, you probably should. But you said, you know, a lot of people have been waiting for him to come back. And we have 4 teams on a bye. We still have a lot of injuries at the position. So you see that name sitting there in your lineup, and you say, God, how could I sit him? But you've heard the guys talk about it. You know, I think we're going to see him eased into the rotation. And that's exactly what Shane Steichen said. We're going to make him part of the rotation. As Lige said, it's been a good start for Zach Moss. So how do you completely go away from him? But really, it's about the matchup as well as the rust potential for Jonathan Taylor. I mean, we haven't seen him since week 15 of last year. No training camp, no preseason, no first 4 games. And so there's going to take some time. You know, he may have a wow player or two, but this Titans run defense has been tried and true going back to last season, and we saw it already this year. They did give up 2 touchdowns to Jerome Ford a couple of games ago, but they shut down Joe Mixon last week. So this is going to be a focal point, not just stopping the running attack of Jonathan Taylor, but also the rush attack of Anthony Richardson. I think Richardson's too hard to slow down at this point. Taylor might be able to slow himself down because he's not going to be on the field to the same level that we're used to seeing. So in a couple of weeks, we'll probably get the best of Jonathan Taylor. At best, for week 5, I would consider him a flex, given the matchup and the circumstances.
Okay, and then week 6 at Jacksonville, maybe a little bit more of a favorable matchup there for Jonathan Taylor.